Hi all, welcome to my video session on developing test automation framework. We will be looking at what is a test automation framework and what are the key components, how we can uh, take these key elements of a test automation framework and make effective and efficient viable test automation framework for your project or your organization. So test automation frameworks are where we put best practices and standards of test automation into a common platform or an architecture. A test automation project won't survive if we don't have a test automation framework. If we have just record and playback scripts without having a framework of promoting reusability or configurability, it is of waste, because if we are going to change the URL, we may have to change hundreds and thousands of scripts, which is a tedious task. And if the developer has changed some of the UI components or the functionality, or the UX engineer has changed some UI components in the web page, and if it's not promoted as a reusable test automation framework, then also you will have a tedious task of going each and every test scenario and changing it. So test automation framework is where we put common best practices and standards into a single platform. Please also note that the survival of test automation in your project or an organization depends on how well you have designed your test automation framework. So the key elements of a test automation framework when you are designing or developing is reusability, configurability, reportability, extendability, scalability, and viability. So let's look at each of these components. Reusability. Reusable is where you have certain common functions or pages that can be shared across multiple test scenarios. For example, the login scenario or the logout scenario. So this login scenario will be used by most all of the test cases if you are developing a web automation framework or you have web automation practice. So everyone should log in to the website. Therefore, you make this login page or the login functionality a common function or a class where it can be shared by multiple test scenarios. For reusability, we use page object model or page factory model. Some people say page factory model is much faster, but it doesn't matter. Choice is up to you. So to learn more on Selenium page factory model, you can go to Guru 99's web page on page factory model. Just go through and try to implement this example which is given in the web page. Next, let's move into configurability. Configurability is where we don't hard code the URL, the user logins, or the environmental data. We try to separate data from the automation script logic. For example, we can export data from a database, Excel sheets, text files, CSV files, or JSON files. So do keep in mind, if you use Selenium or any other automation tool and you want to design a test automation framework, make it configurable. Next is reportability. Reportability is also a most important component in your test automation framework. It gives a detailed information about the execution of your test automation suite. The test report, execution report, should be much detailed, where a manual user should be able to submit an issue or a bug when there is a test automation test scenario failure. So it should provide necessary details such as screenshot of the failure, where it went wrong, steps where the test automation particular scenario executed, expected result, and actual result. So these kind of things gives a nice and more effective test execution report. You can use other third-party reporting frameworks such as Extend Report, ALU Report, ATU Report, and Vigo Reporting. Let's go move into extendability. Extendability is where you extend the function of your test automation framework. It is where you integrate one or more test automation tools into the single framework. For example, we have Selenium to test the UI functionality of a web application. But to test a web service which the same project uses, we might have to integrate with REST assured in a Java environment. For example, another thing is the reporting libraries. You may have to integrate ATU reporting, ALU reporting, or extend reporting as reporting. So, for another example is where you use Jira as a dashboard. You may have a requirement where you have to give your clients or your management a dashboard of the nature of the test executions. So you may have to use Jira REST APIs to integrate and extend the functionality of dashboard reporting. There are various ways you can extend or increase the functionality of your test automation framework. For this, please refer using Maven, where you can integrate so many libraries, Maven repositories into your single Java automation framework. Scalability. The test automation framework should not be only used in one project. It should be extended or scaled into other projects with minimal customizations. You cannot actually put the same framework into another project without any customizations. So the automation project or the test automation framework should be scalable to other organizational projects. Next is viability. Please develop automation frameworks which are viable, which are based on the feasibility of and the project nature and the requirements of the project. Don't bring test automation framework from one organization and plant it into in your organization. You may have to do customizations and make your automation framework viable. So these are the things that you might have to learn when you are developing or design a test automation framework for your test automation project. Please be mindful to address these key elements which I have explained in this training video. Thank you.